Yes.
Today I'm going to teach you all about human and animal rescue, so similar to yours. Before we get started, I want you all to close your eyes and try to imagine an emaciated animal lying on the ground, curled up, alone, hanging on for dear life. Now, imagine a child starving for attention, curled up, alone, and hanging on by a thread. These two scenarios are very real. They do exist, and they're happening right now as we sit in this classroom. According to childwelfare.org, 750,000 children are abused and neglected every year. And although there's no reporting system for animal abuse and neglect, we know that the numbers exist we know it exists in staggering numbers. But there is hope for those in need of support, whether you have 2 legs or 4. There are amazing resources that can help heal physical and mental injuries. How? The answer is simple. It is animal-assisted therapy. By pairing an animal who no longer had an option with a child who now needs new options, together they heal one another by bonding, learning to love and trust again. That is a win-win in my book. There was a study conducted by Dr. Aubrey Fine. He is also known as Dr. Doolittle, the real-life Dr. Doolittle. He does amazing work with animals and children. And he found that having an animal present during a therapy session made that therapy session friendlier and less threatening for the child. And then there was a similar study done by Purdue University, and they had found that when a child was introduced to an unfamiliar animal, and in this situation, in this case it was a dog, 76% of those children felt that that dog knew, or 76% of those children thought that they felt that dog knew how they felt. So that is an immediate bond. And then another 84% said they would confide their secrets with that dog. And that's pretty powerful, that trust can be introduced so quickly. This is where the unwillingness for that child to open up ends, and the child slowly begins the healing process. Does animal therapy work? It does. There is a place called Zuma's Ranch in Littleton, and it's just one of many nonprofit organizations that help wayward animal and children alike live life again. These children can relate to these animals by their one common bond: their abuse, their neglect, and eventually their healing process. The children get to witness and they take part of the healing process for that animal. They learn to empathize, and most of these kids lack empathy, and it's such an important tool to carry on in life. So they learn to empathize with that animal, and then they end up finding hope for themselves, because if they see this animal can heal through this process and be accepted into a new family, then they surely can too. I asked the founder of Zuma's Ranch, her name is Jody Messinich, if she could share a story with me about anything that stuck out in her mind about a graduate from her ranch. And she couldn't. She said all the stories are amazing and successful in their own way. She did tell me about a girl who came into the ranch who had a severe speech impediment, and she wouldn't talk at all. She wouldn't use words. She wouldn't write any words down. She would nod her answers. She was very combative and quite a challenge at home, and her parents were ready to send her into foster care. So it must have been pretty severe, and at the last minute they ended up finding Zuma's Ranch. And after 12 weeks of therapy, she was writing poems about horses, and then eventually volunteered to share her work with her mentors and peers, and that was all her doing. She wasn't required to do it. It's not a part of the therapy, and she wanted to do it. So that is a pretty powerful message. She now is a mentor herself, mentoring children who were once like her, and then she also goes back to Zuma's every so often and helps implement training for the horses at Zuma's, and they have other animals there also that do therapy. It's not just a horse ranch. It started out that way though. Zuma is a horse that the owners had several of the graduates actually from Zuma's Ranch end up going into some sort of field that was related to their therapy. So whether it's a veterinarian, a caseworker, these are all lifelong tools that they gained from their animal-assisted therapy. So it's pretty amazing. If you're interested, you can go to zumasrescueranch.com, and then there's another website. It's called animal-assistedtherapyprograms.com, and it lists a whole bunch of different facilities around Denver that do the same thing. Volunteering, of course, is a great way to give back to your community, and it also can benefit you personally. You can have higher self-esteem. It feels good to help somebody, so why not feel good yourself? You can also, maybe you'll be able to get interested in something that you never even thought you liked. Or if you're already in that field, you can gain more knowledge and it could help you climb up the professional ladder. Before I close, I want you guys to all remember the animal I had you picture in the beginning, but this time, remember now, this time imagine your rescued animal is healthy, thriving, and running along the side of a happy, healthy child. They are best friends. They are ready, and now they are able to tackle life's curveballs. I'm going to end with a quote from Albert Einstein. If a man aspires toward a righteous life, his first act of abstinence is from injury to animals. Thank you. It's Andra, A-N-D-R-A.